Hello and welcome to another installment of Saints Talk, or Coach's Corner, since we have another Saints coach in the house. We are back from break. Everyone in the staff, that is, the students come back beginning of next week. So we're about to get going again here. Coach Biel was, of course, kind enough when I was being interviewed for my position to tour me around campus. I'm eternally grateful for that.
I forgot about that.
Now, he's the head cross-country and indoor track coach for men and women, so his job is not to be a tour guide, so unfortunately he's not available for bookings at the moment. But we won't talk about that. We will talk about the programs that you have built up here. And obviously, lately you've had some conference championships, men's and women's side, regional championship this year, and an incredible opportunity to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Second.
And second.
Second in the region.
Whew. Oh, second in the region. Okay, yeah. Which is, by the way, still very good, and obviously,
not a championship yet.
Obviously good enough to propel them to an incredible experience up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
A couple standouts that I'd like to talk about: Eloise Duffier, dates at Signy.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. I fail at it all the time.
And Lauren Pancala, and she's won the Total Package Share Award, and I'm sure at some point Eloise breaking in some awards herself. So can you talk about their progression a little bit, and especially since they're kind of nearing
we're getting close.
Yeah.
That's everybody keeps asking me, what are you doing to replace them? And the answer is you can't. You can't replace them because Flagler College is a destination. It's a wonderful place to be, but we're not Stanford. You know, you're not the first on everyone's list coming out of high school. Like, where do you want to go as a college athlete or a student athlete? I want to go to Oregon. I want to go to Stanford. Not many people are writing Flagler College, so you have to go out there and introduce them to the school. So getting a Lauren Pancala out of Chicago, she was very good, not great, out of high school. Eloise was extremely overlooked as an international prospect because she didn't go through a recruiting service. She wasn't a full-time runner. She was playing tennis and doing all these other things and had some running success, but not enough to warrant big looks. And so you're getting these kids to commit to you on the dream that they're going to come in, they're going to do everything right, they're going to grow under your tutelage, and then in 4 years they're going to be young adults and kill it. And you're wrong as often as you are right, unfortunately. You like to be right more than you're wrong, but college is an interesting place where people make interesting decisions, even if you're trying to steer them in the right direction. So I got Lauren, I got Eloise, and two other young ladies at the same time 4 years ago when I thought it was the strongest recruiting class I'd ever had. I don't think you were here then. We had our one of our people in sports information put out this great press release with a graphic, all four of them running. I thought, I hit the lottery. It was great, jackpot. That year was tough. That was a frustrating freshman year. If you ask them, they'll talk about it, not in great detail probably. That was a challenging season. I did a lot of reflection at the end of that season. When things go wrong, I was always taught look in the mirror, and that season wasn't great. So I look in the mirror and I start reevaluating, what are we doing? We had previous success. In 2013, we won the conference championship. We made it to nationals, and this was then flash forward to 2015, and all of a sudden, 2014 it might have been, things weren't working or it didn't work, but we got on the right path, and then flash forward to now, Lauren and Eloise have had 3 just awesome years following that really tough freshman year. So Lauren LP, we call her, has been just shy of where we think she can get. She's been on that cusp for 2 years now, kind of right on the bubble of being elite, kind of making that breakout. She's super solid. I mean, the girl you want on every team. She could run for any team in the country, but maybe not the number 1 runner on every team in the country. Eloise broke out to where now she can run with anybody in the country. She's tremendous. So we're hoping, on the heels of Eloise missing All-American status in the fall at cross-country nationals by 1 spot. She finished 41st. We need to be top 40. We're hoping we can get her back to nationals this indoor season. We race this weekend, and we're hoping we can get Lauren there for the first time. So that'll be
pretty cool.
Yeah, challenge. But those two, we have a young lady signed, committed, who should be very good for us next year, but not going to step in and replace either one of them right out of the jump. I mean, we went into the conference championship weekend this year in the fall thinking we had 1 and 2 pretty much wrapped up. It was anyone's race. It was going to be a Flagler girl. We just didn't know which one. It was going to be either LP or Eloise, and LP was sick. So it went to Eloise, and LP managed still to be top 5, which was pretty incredible for what she was dealing with that morning. But yeah, 2 great runners.
Very cool. And yeah, it's interesting because with a lot of sports, fans will watch it, and you know they like to see how their teams progress, how the athletes on their team progress. A lot of times they think they know how it works, but they don't. But I imagine even fewer people understand how progression works as a runner. It's not just getting from point A to point B faster and trying to get faster and faster. And yes, there's a part of it, but can you explain a little bit like what you see and what you like to promote to make the athletes faster and put them in a position to get towards the top?
It's funny because I think probably golf, swimming, and running are the 3 sports that people have this funny idea about how it works. You know, golf, you get to go spend all day out on golf course or play golf, so that must be really easy, right? What do you actually do? Swimming, you just swim. Just tell them to swim faster. And running, what do you tell them? Run faster. You know, how hard can that be? It is a process from the moment they get on campus, and a big part of it is recognizing that as you stand before me as a freshman at 17 or 18 years old, you're capable of so much less than you can accomplish when you're 20, 21, because you're just different. You're in a different body by the time you're 20, 21. Especially on the men's side, man, you gain a lot of strength over those 4 years, and young ladies going from the age of 14 when they're in high school to 19, you transition into essentially a new body. And so you're building them very methodically over the course of 4 years with the understanding that maybe we aren't as good as we can be this first fall or this first year, but we've got our eye on this date way down the road. And so it's not like many other sports where you can just go practice for 12 hours a day to gain a skill and be better at it. There is a finite amount of toll you can put on a body. The stress that you get from running, from pounding pavement or trails or anything is overwhelming, and you can only do so much of it. So it's not like we can just come in and put in 12 hours a day and all of a sudden freshman year we're incredible. Certainly there's some of that, but we like to think that we're doing about as much as we can without getting hurt. We're always towing that line right on the edge of doing just enough or maybe too much and getting hurt. So I have to really have a long-sighted view. And so when I recruit you to come run for me and you set foot on campus, we've got a plan in place that can be frustrating because you don't get to see the payout in a week or 2 weeks or a month. Certainly your first training cycle that will end at the championship season of the fall, which we just finished, you will see improvement. But really what we're looking at is what can we do in 3 to 4 years? As a junior, you're different than you are as a freshman, so much so that you wouldn't even recognize yourself looking back on it. And that's been the case with Eloise and LP and some of the men that we've had come through the program. So it's really, for my dollar, our sport is the one, along with swimming, I believe, in crew, which we don't have either of those two. But those sports require so much outside of practice discipline that just isn't called upon very often in many other sports. You can get by to a large extent with skill in many other sports that you just can't do. You can't get away with that in running, and especially distance running. You have to live right. And so when I bring them in, we're not bringing in talented runners who can just show up to practice and run fast. We're bringing in runners who are going to live it. You have to live as a runner, or you're just going to be very average.
It's very funny you mention that because I used to work in the baseball industry, and I will not name any names, but there was one minor league baseball player, just a massive guy and a great bat. And when I asked once why he was playing baseball, he said, he doesn't do anything really outside of it in terms of training. He just does it because he's good at it and he's got skill. He doesn't. He's like, I just kind of step up to the plate and swing the bat.
And not to discredit him, I can't do what they do.
Right, but it's just funny
I was cursed with limited hand-eye coordination, or maybe I didn't get involved in it early enough, but I can't hit a fastball. So it's incredible what other sports are able to do. Don't get me wrong, but boy, is it challenging to tell them we're practicing every morning at 6.
Like, no, I'm not.
You need to be in bed by 9.
Yeah, right.
When do you do your homework? During the day. It's such a novel concept.
Yes.
Boy, that you have to really walk the walk as a high-level endurance athlete, and it's boy, it's challenging to ask someone who's finally getting away from home for the first time, going to college, spreading my wings. Oh, now I have to go to bed earlier than I did in high school. It's a tough sell, but when you get the right ones to do it, that's why moments like we had at the Peach Belt Conference Championship this year, or in 2016 with the men, or 2013 with the women, or getting to nationals are so sweet, because it's not because of the effort that we put in that day, it's because of the effort you put in over 4 years, or 3 years, or however, what year you happen to be in college or in the program. Boy, it's like, finally I see the payout. I like to think that they're getting some of that through the course of training, and you learn to enjoy it, and you get some of the small paydays during the process. But the big payout when you finally get to enjoy a championship with your teammates who have also sacrificed the same things, man, it makes it sweet.
That's great. And obviously you've been to Pittsburgh, Kansas, right, for other nationals for indoor track, but now you've been to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a different Pittsburgh. What was that experience like for you and the girls?
So it's tremendous. So they do, the NCAA Division II does a great job of their festival years where it'll rotate. So this year was a fall festival year, and then it'll be a winter and then a spring. And what they do in those years is every championship contested during the fall, in a fall festival year, will have their national championship contested in the same city on the same week. So men's and women's soccer was in Pittsburgh, women's volleyball, women's field hockey, and men's and women's cross country were all in downtown Pittsburgh at the same 3 hotels during the course of the whole week. So Tuesday night was opening ceremonies. Soccer, volleyball, and field hockey had their Final Four kind of leading up to Saturday, and then all the championships were basically contested Saturday when we had our championships that morning. And it's a really cool kind of Olympic Village sort of feel where you're walking around the hotels and it's athletes everywhere.
That's awesome.
You really get to hang out with your peers. And so, especially the opening ceremonies, we weren't required to be there since we raced so late in the week, but I wanted them to experience that, and you really got a good chance to interact with other student athletes, in particular other runners who go through the same things you go through to get there, and sacrifice so much to have a chance to maybe get there.
Yeah, right.
And when you get there, you get to enjoy it. So it was a really cool experience. We had one of our alternate that we took up with us is actually from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So not too far away.
Yeah,
so
going home.
Her sister goes to Duquesne, so she's familiar with Pittsburgh, and she's kind of our tour guide. And I had raced up there a number of times from my time at GW. We raced against Duquesne up there a lot, so it was pretty neat. I could have asked for some better weather.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania during that time of year, huh?
Snowed all week, it was freezing cold, and then it all melted, and it rained, and we ran in a mud pit on Saturday morning. It was interesting.
Sounds like the kind of weather that those Steelers would love to play in.
Yeah.
But not so much for running, though.
Yeah, not great. It was fun, though.
So, switching gears a little bit, because you are, of course, the head coach of the men's and women's indoor track team here at Flagler as well, and that's getting right around the corner. In fact, talking this week as well for getting that going.
Yeah, we leave tomorrow actually, so it's a little scary because the school doesn't start until next week. I chose not to keep them here over the break, so they've been communicating during this time, but I haven't seen them, and the first time I'll see them is tomorrow morning when I leave. So we have it's a little different when you switch gears into track. It's all team focused in the fall. To be a championship track program, whether it be indoor or outdoor, it's not team players that you're looking for, it's individual elite athletes. Mm-hmm. So you need to be elite at your given discipline in order to qualify individually for the national championships. And then the hope is you have enough of those athletes that you can have 5 or 6 or 10 or 15 athletes representing you at the national championships, and then they can score enough points to where you win as a team. So sure, it's still a team competition, and you still are scoring points versus other teams, but you could win your conference championship in track and field and not even be ranked top 25 in the country or not score a single point at the national championship meet because you win via depth in the conference level, where you don't need to have necessarily the best of the best of the best to score points at the conference level, but not have any of them make it into nationals. And conversely, you could be a top 30 program in the country and be dead last in your conference. So LOE would have scored points at the national meet last year, which puts us as a top 45 team in the country by virtue of scoring a single point. That puts us ranked in the country, but were we to have a conference championship, we simply don't have enough depth to field a team score that would put us anywhere in the top 5. So sort of a funny dynamic. I will say this, it gives us a great opportunity to, you and I, while being competitive cross-country runners on the same team, may have different strengths. You may be better suited to a middle distance event, and I may be better suited to a longer distance event, but we meet in the middle for cross-country. So we've got runners that, like Eloise, for example, is a great middle distance runner, but Lauren, LP, is more of a true distance runner. So the hope is we can get Eloise back to nationals for the mile. That's been the focus all year. And if we can get LP qualified in the 5,000, that's the goal there. It'll be tough. It's a tough nut to crack to qualify in the 5,000. And we have a young man who's a freshman, Justin Green, who's promising in the mile. And if not this year, hopefully we can keep him on the right track to where he can follow in Andrew Smith's footsteps and get in. So we've got about a month of a qualifying window. We have to qualify by essentially the 3rd week of February. Our last meet will be the 2nd week of February. So hopefully we hit the qualifying time then, and we get him into nationals.
Yeah, well, it's great too to see. I know you just mentioned the men a little bit, but it's great to see the women doing so well with LP and LOE after seeing guys like Corey Mundy and Andrew Smith do what they've done and go to the nationals and indoor track and things of that nature. So it's just the strides. Both sides have been pretty.
One of these years, we're going to get both teams there at the same time. We've been kind of alternating every year. And next year, we lose one tremendous senior on the men's side, and we lost another young man. So we'll have 2 guys not coming back for next year. But then again, we bring everybody else back. We should be very good next year on the men's side. And then on the other side of that coin, we're losing 3 of our best runners. We're losing 3 all-conference runners on the women's side. It will be very difficult to replace. So
keeps it interesting, I guess.
We might flip-flop again next year. So
keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about this because it is a big part of Division II athletics and a big part of Flagler College. So obviously, outside of running or playing whatever sport you do, students have to do community service stuff, be in the classroom, and all these other things. But a major part of what we have to do here is fundraise, because you have to be able to, if you want to be competitive at such a high level, you have to give these kids the best opportunity possible to do that.
Yeah.
I know we have something coming up on March. Can you talk a little bit about that, what fundraising means to the program?
Sure, yeah, and this is a big point of contention. A parent coming in expects, and rightfully so, I've spent all this time and money investing in my child to get them to this level. Why aren't we getting literally everything under the sun? And all things aren't created equal. We do a great job here of getting people what they need, but I tell my runners every time I have the opportunity to, and they probably get tired of hearing it, there is a world of difference between what you need and what you want. There are many things that I would like to have that I don't necessarily need. Would they be great? Sure, absolutely. But we don't need them to be great. The only thing we really need to be great is an opportunity to compete. So fundraising is a big part of it because, especially as a small private institution, everybody's money is coming from that same pie. And in order for us to have more things, someone else is going to have to be denied something. So fundraising is something that every department will do at every college across America, and some do it more effectively than others. And you aren't necessarily getting that ask from a coach saying, hey, would you contribute to our program so that we can do X, Y, or Z, because some NFL football player is maybe donating millions so that you don't have to have that phone call. So coming up in March, they're doing a giving drive. We've already done an online campaign in the fall, which was great. We had a lot of success with it. They're doing another one. The school is doing another one in March, in the spring. And it's being backed by one of our big supporters, who's basically going to, whichever team has the most contributors is going to get an additional $4,000 put into their program from this supporter. So when it goes live, we'll have it on Facebook through our team page, Flagler College Cross Country, and hopefully we can get a lot of people. I guess any amount will work. I think it's a $10 minimum.
$10,000 or 10? I'm just kidding.
Hey, that'd be great. $10 is deny yourself a few Starbucks coffees, and there you have it. But it goes to, what does this go to? It goes to literally everything, because there is no one area where we couldn't improve, where we couldn't do more. We couldn't have more of the things that you'd really like to have or you want to have, but you don't need. So we have what we need. I try very hard to do what we can do to get them as many things as we would like to have as possible. But like I was saying off air a second ago, when you qualify for nationals, and it's in a place like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where you're staying literally in the city center, the per diem doesn't change based on where you are. And so things are just a little bit more expensive up there. And I was like, oh, doesn't the NCAA cover all that? Well, no, they don't cover everything. And so you almost, on some level, are punished when you qualify for a thing like nationals, where you have to fundraise all of a sudden to get to the national championship. So we're in that boat right now. As I'm looking at my budget, we had a tremendous fall. Our men were very good. I think next year we're going to be great. Our women were great this year. Certainly we wanted a little bit more at the championships, but running in those conditions, literally anything could have happened. So just staying on our feet and finishing 31st was quite an accomplishment. But now we have to kind of lick our wounds, so to speak, and kind of refill the piggy bank. So when we have this drive, every donation that we can get helps, whether it be more training shoes, more racing equipment. Literally travel is ridiculous these days. It just keeps going up and up and up. So the school does everything that they can to give us what we need, and it's up to us to try to get more of the things that we want. So it's a big part of it. Nobody enjoys asking for money, but such is life.
Such is life, and especially, and not just this institution, but many others.
Everyone.
Yeah, I mean, heck, USC, University of Florida, they're calling alumni.
If you want to get a job in administration these days, have a background in fundraising, and you'll do well.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah.
And of course, I jest about $10,000 minimum. Obviously, everyone here is very grateful for whatever people can give, but certainly won't turn down $10,000 donations.
Turn it down. That's true.
But we're very excited to see we're both really the men's and women's cross country, and of course, men's and women's indoor track teams go. We've seen some great things in the past, and you always know that no matter what they say, the sky's the limit. No matter what they say, we don't care what they say.
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction. There's a lot of reasons why, when you're sitting on the outside, you look in here and say they can't do this or they shouldn't be able to do this, and we just don't. We choose not to hear it. You don't need a lot of things to be great. You just need the opportunity, and the kids are doing a great job. So hopefully we can keep it moving in that direction. It's just tricky, to keep the ball rolling is more challenging than getting it started. Getting it started is easy. You sell the vision and people buy in or they don't. And now that we've got some traction, it's easy to rest on your laurels, and hopefully the runners understand that, and we keep moving in the right direction. So.
Well, Coach, thank you for taking the time with us, especially since you guys are gearing up for the first meeting of the indoor track season. And of course, we gotta keep them fed, and it's a big part of running as well.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us, and we can't wait to see what this spring has in store for you all.
Thanks,
Larry.
Larry.
Thank you.